What's up?
So,
What's up, yo? Thanks, you guys, for coming on. This is my first time interviewing two people at once, so this is interesting. So I know, so Clinton, you said you're from the UK, right?
Yeah, well, I live in Belfast at the moment, but I wasn't originally born here.
Okay. Where were you born?
Well, I was actually born in Greece, but my parents are both Nigerian.
Oh, that's nice. I love it. So I know you're not fully raw, you're plant-based, right? And you do one raw day a week right now, and then you're going to add on as time goes. But how long have you been plant-based overall, and then what inspired you to go plant-based?
Okay, so I've been plant-based vegan for 9 years. So 9 years. And I first got into it mainly because I was suffering with a lot of health issues. You know, I was getting a lot of skin problems that started at the age of 16. Just like cysts and boils, just like all over my body, like my armpits and my groin and my back. It was just really, really painful. And
wow.
When I went to uni, I felt really alone because at the time, like, it was my family members that knew what I was going through. And whenever I went to uni and like I was away from my family and this like newfound level of independence, I kind of felt really alone with the issue. And like just during the period where I was going through a bad spell of just getting a lot of like issues, I just realized that, you know, it was up to me to be able to actually take control of my health and stuff like that. So I started like doing a lot of research online, and I would watch a lot of TED Talks. And I think I came across a John McDougall video.
Yeah.
And then from there, like it was basically
solution.
Yeah.
John McDougall is all about the start solution, then potatoes and rice. Okay. Thank you for sharing the story. Now, Jalen, I know that you're fully raw, and tell me remind me, how long have you been raw, and did you go from a meat eating diet straight to raw? Did you start off with plant-based and then transition? Tell me your story about how that started.
Sure. So, basically, like, definitely my life, I was not raw, I was not vegan. I ate everything. But funny enough, there was actually a time, probably when I was about 3 or 4 years old, maybe 5 years old, where my mom was actually vegetarian. She actually raised me. Vegetarian for a few years. I would eat a lot of like focus burgers and, you know, just kind of more, I guess, more processed vegetarian meals. But that only lasted a few years, and we started to incorporate animal products again. And basically, I ate everything. You know, I love meat, I love chicken, I love hamburgers, I love bacon, I loved everything, and I was always a really big eater. And
Jalen, is it your the audio is kind of like cutting in and out. Are you far away?
Here, let me I'm gonna put in my headphones. I'm gonna hold.
Let's try it.
My apologies.
Can you hear it? It's all good.
Oh, good.
We just chill on Sunday.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So basically throughout my life, I ate basically everything. And as I got older, I definitely had periods in my life where I guess I was going down the wrong path. I was getting into drugs, alcohol, and, you know, pills, and just definitely not going the kind of health path. And essentially going through that led to a lot of falling off of family, of, you know, like causing a lot of drama in my life. And essentially, I realized that in order for things to heal around me, I need to heal myself. I need to take my health into my own hands. And whatever I'm searching for, whether it's happiness, whether it's peace of mind, whether it's trying to clear anxiety or any sort of health issues that I was dealing with, I need to start with myself. I need to make healthier choices. And so I started to just overall get more into just kind of like, you know, healthy activities. I was getting more into working out, and I would eat a healthier diet. So maybe I was including more vegetables with my, you know, meat, or, you know what I mean? And I always loved to, but and basically I started boxing when I was a teenager, and I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But there came a time when I was 18, and after taking a break from boxing, I decided to get back into it. and I started training consistently. I wanted to cut weight for my first fight. I had a fight coming up, and I just intuitively felt, I don't even know where the seed was planted, but I felt that if I just ate a plant-based diet, beans, rice, fruits, vegetables, that I would have an easier time cutting the weight. So that's essentially what I did for my first fight. I cut the weight by going vegan, and basically just from that point in time, I just did not return to eating animal products. And so I would consider that more of a plant-based transition. And then over time, I started getting into the ethics and really understanding the why of why I'm actually vegan. And whenever I first transitioned, like after my first fight, I was still eating a lot of vegan processed food. I would eat the veggie burgers, the vegan fast food. I would go to Taco Bell all the time and get a million burritos and vegan French fry. I definitely ate a lot of vegan processed foods, and but just me always being interested in health and feeling better, optimizing my athletic performance, and just always wanting that next step. I've always been on YouTube and searching different videos and personal development hacks and whatever the case. And I found out about the raw vegan diet at first, and at first I was like, raw vegan, like cutting out cooked food, like beans and rice. Like why would I cut that out? So at first I initially was like, no way, I'm eating my beans, eating my rice, eating my oatmeal, etc. But then I think videos just kept on kind of popping up in my feed, and I was like, you know what? Let me check it out, and there was one channel that really spoke to me, Jack from Raw Tropical Living, super dope dude, and I just started really long video. I just started like binge watching like a lot of his videos, and I just really appreciated his more like rational approach and non-dogmatic approach, and it just made me very interested in wanting to try it. And essentially I did. I tried it. I went fully raw. I went a couple days, 3 days, and I just noticed that after a couple of days of just eating, just high fruit, and that like my energy, my digestion, everything just felt like so much better. And I was like, there's something very special here, and that's where I just kind of originally planted the seed into just being raw vegan, and just finding and just realizing that I feel my best eating fully raw. I'll go back again. So I've been vegan for 5 years.
Hey, kings and queens, welcome back. So I had a IG live with @FruitKid and @Jalen Sills, and IG live was acting up. So I'm going to take some of the good parts of that and add it on to the Zoom, which you'll see in a moment. We ended up having to get on Zoom and continue our interview, but there's some things that I'm going to have to take off of the live because it was choppy, it was echoey, and it's just all jacked up. So excuse the non-smooth transition from the IG live to the Zoom. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the interview, and I hope you're inspired, and we'll see you in a moment.
Amazing.
So Jalen said give him 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the question I had for you, and then he'll join with us in a few minutes. So I'm not going to start all over. I'm probably going to maybe add that IG live and just put these together. So we'll just continue where we left off.
Okay, sure.
I'm so mad at IG. Anyway, so I know, did you, in your bio, you say that you like help people get in shape and lose weight and everything. So you're a coach?
Yeah, so basically, for the past 9 years, I've been sort of promoting this lifestyle sharing stuff on social media. So recently I started working with a raw food business coach. So we designed a program, and now I'm sort of getting people sort of on the program. I've got a trial client at the moment. Just going through it, just learning, and just going from there. Just hoping to actually set up an established business.
Oh,
hey,
that's good. So, like, what does that look like as a coach? Like, what do you do with your clients? Like,
so basically,
is it a meal plan, an exercise plan? Like, what does it look like?
It's a 12-week program where we go through, the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. How to transition to a plant-based diet. We go through exercise. I focus on walking. Also, we go through mindset. Things about setting up goals and having a vision board, and just things in relation to like a lot of 4 active wellness sort of based lifestyle.
Nice. I might have to sign up.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I know what to do to lose the weight, but doggone it, can I just get some consistency, please? No, like for me, like I'll eat, I eat a healthy diet overall, right? But there's always like one day a week that maybe it's somebody's birthday party, or maybe I go out with the coworkers, or a date night with my husband, or so I end up eating in a surplus, eating more than I burn, right? So then there's 2 pounds extra, and then it's just a cycle. I'm sick of it. Anyway, so I know you eat plant-based, but then you do one raw day a week right now. So what's a typical day of eating look like as plant-based, and then a typical day of raw look like for you?
No, that's a good question. So basically, like, I didn't really even explain how I got into eating like sort of more raw food from the Starch Solution.
Yeah.
But it's mainly from Arnold Derrick, if you've ever heard of that name.
Yeah. Mucusless diet, the mucusless diet.
Healing System.
Yeah.
And I stumbled upon that book by accident. It was like pure accident. Like I was just looking up related sort of health books in relation to like a plant-based diet, and that came up. And it had so many good reviews. I bought it, and it was incredible. But also Freely the Banana Girl and that sort of movement got me massively into it as well, because I actually saw someone living the lifestyle, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's eating so many bananas. But I was like, she looks incredible though. Oh my goodness. But yeah, a typical day for me would be raw till 4. So I would have like a big ass smoothie, maybe like 600 grams of dates, which is a lot of dates for a lot of people. Like people can't even fathom that. Yeah, most people look at me like that, like how you just, just like, oh my goodness. And then I would throw in lots of berries, bananas, greens, spinach, kale. Sometimes I throw romaine, but it's not as common as like kale and spinach, coriander. And then I would have that throughout the day. Sometimes I'll have like a juice, like a carrot juice. And then at dinner time, it would normally be like a big meal of like rice, potatoes, gluten-free pasta, lots of vegetables, and a salad. So more like Starch Solution for dinner.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, 80-10-10, raw food, sort of lifestyle.
And you do that one day a week right now, right?
No, I'm doing that like most of the day, and then one day a week it's 100% raw.
Oh, okay. So you're doing raw to 6 days a week, and then all raw one day.
Yeah, all raw one day. And on the raw day it would be the same smoothies, green smoothies, juices, and then dinner time would either be like more of a smoothie, Jalen vibes, or I would have like a salad with like romaine, cucumber, tomatoes, raw kimchi, which I'm amazed that is a thing in a store near me.
I'm still scared to try that. What does it taste like?
Amazing.
I'm scared to try that.
Amazing, savory. I like savory, African background. Like I like savory foods, savory, spicy food. So it just hits the spot.
I'm scared to try it, but everybody says it's so good. So maybe I'll just suck it up and try it. Jalen, same question for you. I already know your plan of eating, but just for the viewers, what do you eat as a raw vegan?
Yes. So my staple, bananas. I ate a lot. I eat anywhere from 20 to 30 plus bananas a day. I usually start my day. I love coconut water, so I drink a lot of coconut water. I usually break my fast with coconut water, and depending on what fruit is in season, I may have a first that. So, for example, if there are mangoes in season, I'll have a bunch of mangoes. If watermelon is in season, which I love, like summertime, the watermelons.
Yes.
I will I usually blend up watermelon and basically make like a watermelon smoothie. I put the fiber in. And basically just blend up watermelon. I'll drink it. It's on a hot day. It's it's cold. It's refreshing. It's literally the best thing ever. And then basically like my staple that I'll have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just basically just whenever I want something, filling, is a smoothie. So my go-to smoothie will be anywhere from 10, 12, 14 bananas, always spotty, soft, ripe bananas.
Yeah.
I'll always add frozen wild blueberries. I love frozen wild blueberries. And then I do like to add different like green powders, for example.
Yeah.
So the main green powder that I'll use is called Wild Green Formula. It's by Marcus. He's a pretty well known raw vegan. Him and his wife Kara, they're pretty well known in the raw vegan health scene. And I think they have a very high quality green powder. It basically consists of a bunch of different wild herbs and wild greens, and I essentially include that so I can ensure that I'm getting in a wide array of minerals, vitamins, nutrients. Because I know personally I don't eat too many greens, but I think greens are like essential, right? Like I should definitely be eating a lot more fresh greens, without a doubt. I just tend not to, I guess, I don't know. I just don't really buy too many. Sometimes it will. Sometimes I do go in cycles where I'll start adding greens to my smoothies, which I should. But whenever I don't include greens, I always include a green powder to basically fill in that hole. I also like spirulina. Spirulina is an algae. It's very and it's condensed into a powder. It's actually pretty protein dense. It's said to be one of the most like protein dense foods, like on a calorie kind of ratio. And it's also very mineral dense. It's very rich in a lot of different minerals, vitamins, nutrients. So I do include that, and I find that it adds a nice savory component to my smoothies. So I usually add about a tablespoon or so of spirulina. Then I also like maca, which maca is an adaptogen. It's sort of like a natural energizer, but I think it has a very nice flavor. It has a nice kind of nutty, just I don't know, it has a nice flavor that I think complements my smoothies very well. So that's my go-to smoothie. Sometimes I may add a tablespoon of flax seeds, of chia seeds, of hemp seeds to ensure my omega-3 fatty acids. Those are usually my go-tos. Generally, I do eat pretty low fat. And I just find that that works for me. But of course, that's going to vary from person to person. I'm sure some people may thrive with including a lot more fats in their diet. I definitely don't believe there's a one size fit all. And I like recognize that the way that I eat, I would say, is very it is very repetitive, right? Like I do eat the same foods every day. It's very simple. And I definitely don't think it's the diet for everybody, but I do find for me, it's what allows me to feel my best. I feel like I found what works for me. And whenever I do follow it, I get the results that I desire.
Yeah. And you don't get tired of the same routine of eating?
Man, like my smoothies be hitting, like
they be on point.
It's a spot.
It's on point. Look, bananas, blueberries, your green powder, maca,
and spirulina.
And spirulina. So you're not against greens, like the fresh greens. It's just more convenient to do the powders.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. I would fully recommend eating as many fresh greens as one desires. I think they're incredibly.
I was going to ask because a lot of raw vegans. Some reason, I'll say fruitarians. A lot of fruitarians are just kind of like this with greens, like, and I'm just like, why are people, excluding greens? Because I feel like that's a lot of where the minerals come from. I know the fruit has a lot of vitamins and some minerals too, but I feel like the greens, which even from your powder, a lot of minerals come from there.
100%.
So I know you said you took. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jalen.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, when we look at a lot of the the more long-term raw vegans, like I know like someone on YouTube like OK Raw or like Raw Food Romance or Tanny Raw, or just a lot of these kind of prominent long-term raw vegans. A lot of them include a lot of greens in their diet. They eat salads, and they eat a much more varied raw vegan diet, which I do think is super like amazing, important, and really recognize that I do eat a more restrict a raw vegan diet, but I do find that it works for me.
Yeah.
But in terms of just kind of generally speaking, I think a more varied, including, as like having a diverse array of foods to have that diverse microbiome. I've heard that there's a lot of benefit to having a diverse microbiome that basically allows our stomach to really thrive, and the gut microbiome is responsible for so many aspects of our health, of our brain health, and
Yeah, that's so true. You have to do what works for you, you know? I love that you eat really low fat though, because the only thing you really eat that has fat, I think, is the chia seeds and flax seeds, and you don't even eat that all the time.
Exactly. One thing that I do really like, and I'll have it maybe a few times a week, are like a Harmless Harvest, the brand Harmless Harvest. They make coconut water. They have a little coconut smoothie, where it's basically just blended up coconut meat and coconut water. I do like to have that every, a few times a week, and I love that.
It has fat in it.
Okay.
It has fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coconut meat. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really had coconut meat before.
It's good.
It's nice. It's nice.
So you kind of mentioned you take the protein powder and spirulina. Like, do you guys take supplements? This question is for both of you. Like vitamins, like I take a multivitamin, and also take a calcium and a vitamin D. And then sometimes I might do my raw vegan protein powder and make a smoothie. Do you guys do any supplements like that?
You want to go first, or? Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, so for me, for like along my early journeys, I didn't supplement at all. But I listened to a lot of John McDougall, and he was talking about how like B12, like the importance of B12, and the more research I did about B12, I started supplementing that. So the only supplement I take at the moment is B12. I think everything else just comes from just eating whole foods, fruits and vegetables. And yeah, I do have a vitamin D supplement as well. Sometimes I may take that, but that wouldn't be as consistent as my B12, because I know, like, out of all the supplements, I believe B12 is the most important, not just for vegans, but for absolutely everybody to keep on top of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wonder, have you guys ever known of anybody getting a vitamin B12 deficiency or vitamin D?
Do you want to go ahead, or? Okay. So whenever, I think 3 years into my vegan sort of lifestyle, I did a blood test. I went to the doctor, did a blood test, and it came out that I was low in B12. So I've been low on it, and but in my life, not that many people do I know have like been to the doctors and got like sort of a test saying that they're low on B12. But I think it's very, very, very common, and it goes misdiagnosed a lot of the time.
Yeah, I actually guilty. Nah, there's a few times where my vitamin D was a little low. So that's the only thing that came up low a few times. But once I started taking a vitamin D supplement, and I take a food-based one. It's food-based from Whole Foods, or you can get it on Amazon as well, as opposed to, I don't know what they make all the other vitamins with, but this is a food-based one. And I take it, and then like once I started taking that, then like when I got tested again, I was good. So I find that I do have to take a vitamin D, because the foods I eat, I would say the only thing that really have vitamin D in it is like maybe the almond milk I drink sometimes, or
some mushrooms as well. If you eat mushrooms,
I sometimes I do. So for me, it's just better to just go on a supplement just to kind of fill that gap. But what about you, Jalen? Do you take supplements aside from the maca protein and the protein?
Yeah. So yes, same. Basically, the one supplement that I take that I believe is that like the one like essential supplement that I do take is vitamin B12. I take a liquid. It's like a sublingual, like you put it under your tongue. Methylcobalamin, I believe it's the liquid. I do supplement B12, and and I haven't had a blood test done, and I've seen that I haven't seen that I've had low B12 levels, but I just kind of take it more so as an insurance policy. You know, I've of course heard that B12 is an important one to supplement, so that is what I supplement. And I usually do it every couple of days. You know, if I like miss a day, I don't, it's just, I just take it every couple of days, basically. Mm-hmm. And then another supplement that I take that I don't believe is essential for health, but I take more so for the performance benefits is creatine. I do supplement creatine monohydrate, 5 grams daily, and basically it's one of the most well-researched sports supplements out there, and essentially what creatine does is it basically draws water in to your muscles, and that essentially increases the ATP stores in our muscles, and ATP stores are basically our energy reserves, and basically the more ATP we have, the more our muscles can output, right? And it's like the most what research supplement out there, and it's and it's very common in the bodybuilding world, right?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. And it can definitely help you gain muscle, gain strength, and it can lead to more gains over time. But there's also a lot of there's more benefits other than just sports performance. One being mental, right? There's a lot of cognitive benefits that have been proven by supplementing creatine. And in terms of getting creatine from our diets, for one, our bodies create enough creatine on its own to be healthy, right? So that's why I don't believe it's essential or needed for health. But the only overt sources of creatine are from meat, right? So it's been shown in studies that you, generally speaking, vegans and vegetarians have lower levels of creatine, right? And that vegans and vegetarians tend to experience more benefit from supplementing creatine. And so not just in terms of sports performance, so in terms of feeling stronger, but also just having more basically having more mental output, because our brains also store ATP. So supplementing creatine increases the ATP stores throughout our whole body. So that means that our brains can have even more output. So, yeah. So that's basically the other thing that I supplement. I box, right? I box. I spar all the time. I'm training all day, every day. I teach boxing. And I definitely, and I've supplemented creatine since I was 15, way before I was, I was vegan. Mm-hmm. I have supplemented creatine, and I basically always noticed the benefit. I definitely felt a little bit stronger, for sure. And I just find that it aided in my sports performance. And a big thing with boxing, and with the kind of cognitive benefit of creatine, it's also been shown that supplementing creatine can help with brain trauma. Specifically, they tested it in football players, who are constantly taking very heavy impacts, to their skulls, and they found that supplementing creatine, it helped with brain injuries, possibly, decreasing a CTE and other sort of, brain neurological type of, things that can occur from taking so much blunt trauma to the head. And with me boxing, sparring all the time, and getting hit in the head, I basically want to ensure that my long-term mental health and brain capacity is, really top.
On point. Yeah. Now, just real quick, I know you do all that boxing and stuff. Your muscles are popping lately. Do you lift weights? Whoa! Dang! No, do you lift weights too, or is it all diet and boxing?
Yeah, I actually don't lift weights. I used to lift weights. I lifted weights whenever I was younger. I basically do mostly body weight training and boxing. So, and in terms of body weight training, I don't even do that much. Occasionally I'll do some push-ups. I'll occasionally, some pull-ups, but most of the time I'm just boxing. I'm active, and I hold mitts a lot, and holding mitts is definitely I think that can be workout. constantly with your hands up, you know.
So
Ah,
basically
okay.
what you're saying is you were born this way. No. It's all natural, you know. I don't need to lift weights. No, I'm just playing.
That is like a true thing. Like genetics play a huge factor, and I think I just like, you know, I think I was blessed with you know, good genetics, but I also am very active. Like
Yeah, you're very active. I'm like, dang, he's probably burning like 5,000 calories a day. Because boxing is a lot of, you know. So, so you guys eat at restaurants? Do you eat out? And well, actually, I know the answer for you. You told me before. You prefer not to, Jalen. You prefer not to really eat out, but if you do, you're going on a date or something, you'll like go to a juice place, get you some juices. Y'all share a straw.
Juice day.
But do you eat out, Clinton? Do you eat out at restaurants? And do you guys also eat junk food occasionally?
Well, it would be like, generally speaking, I never eat junk food. Like,
really, never.
Really, I honestly, like, there was along my early journeys. Yeah, I would eat a lot of takeaways and stuff like that, and I would get more like processed, sort of like all the like fake, like Beyond Burgers and fake meats and stuff like that. But I got really into whole food plant-based very quickly because I saw the benefit. So I generally don't like because I've been oil free for so long. If I go out somewhere and it's really oily and greasy, like I could finish the meal and be like, yeah, that was really tasty. I really enjoyed that, but I just feel icky and like, like I don't feel right. So what I do when I go out, I just hit the spots where I know I can get like clean vegan meals. So sushi, I've been really into like sushi at the moment. Just like multiple portions of cucumber maki, avocado maki, bowls of rice, gluten-free, soy sauce, sriracha. So that would be how I sort of get around sort of eating out. Just find places where I can eat like clean, oil-free vegan dishes. So
you don't never eat like no vegan nachos or what about like
I just feel awesome.
Like cookies and cakes, like vegan cookies, vegan cake, vegan ice cream, nothing? Ever?
Never, because for me, people say this to me all the time. You're like, yo, why aren't you eating like Oreos and all these different things? I was like, have you seen the amount of dates I put in my smoothie? Have you seen the amount of dates I put in my smoothie? Like, if you said to me, you can never eat a vegan sweet like Oreos for the rest of my life, I'd be like, I'm good. Like, I got my dates. Like, what more do you need? What more do I need?
That's really good. That's inspiring. And I know, Jalen, you don't really eat junk food either, right? Ever?
Yeah.
Ever? Right?
Basically ever, yeah. Yeah, like it's funny. It's like when you do start eating, you know, cleaner, right? So now just say more whole foods, right? And you start to feel just so much better, healthier. Your energy, everything is like when you go back and eat something, especially like something very, very processed, like Oreos or like French fries. It can, you know, it doesn't hit the same and it like just feels so. It just does not feel very.
It feels gross, but it tastes so good. I'm like, because I'm like you guys like 90% of the time, but that 10%, man, I'm like, I'm just gonna taste for like some vegan ice cream or just like some chips or something. I'm just like, but then I feel gross after I eat it. But I'm like, dang, it was so good though, but I feel nasty afterwards. So was it worth it? No, it wasn't. And then I say, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then next week comes. And then I just want to get to a point where I'm like you guys, where I'm like, I don't eat that at all. Like, I that's where I want to be. And I'm going to get there one day. Our interview is getting too long. And I want to let you guys, get back to your lives. So I'm going to bring it to a close and just say thank you guys so much for sharing your journeys with me and everyone who's going to watch. And sorry about the IG issue. I'm gonna have to combine that one with this one and put them together. And then I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel. But last thing, one inspiration. Who is your number one inspiration in either the vegan community or raw vegan community each?
Ooh. That's a tough one. That's
It
a
is tough.
tough one. That's a tough one. I would say the person whose content that I absorb the most at the moment is probably Freely.
Okay.
It's probably Freely, yeah. So yeah, hands down. And a lot of the times I watch Freely's content and the people who were inspired by Freely, so people like Vegan Solution, and I would watch a lot of Ted Carr and stuff, and sometimes John Rose.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would say probably Freely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You like her content except for when she's talking about everybody, right? Because she'd be bashing everybody. And I'm like,
it's weird. It's weird. I watch a lot of her old content. Her old content where she's just talking about like, oh, you know, 10 ways to go raw vegan, or 1 to 4, or like what I eat in a day. Like, you know, I watch a lot of that.
I like it when she used to do that. I'm like, stop talking about everybody. I always comment on her things like, stop talking about everybody and talking about what they eat. Let them do what they want to do and mind your business. But anyway, and then who's your number one inspiration, Jalen?
So, I mean, for one, shout out Jack from Raw Tropical Living. You know, he was definitely he was definitely one of the initial channels that, you know, I still love to this day. But I would say probably number one who I just always get a lot of inspiration from his content is Ted Carr.
Ted Carr, yeah.
He's just very high energy. And he has a very just clear, just inspiring way of sharing the message of raw foods, of the vegan lifestyle, and so I would say Carr. But
okay.
they're really
a lot. There's probably a lot more. It's hard to narrow it down. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. Send me a link to your Instagram so I could put it in my YouTube so people could just click on it and go straight to it. You guys can follow them on their Instagram. I'll have it in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Yay. I'm just sad about IG.
I know.
It happens.
Maybe it's because it's 3 people. I don't know. I've never done 3 before. I only done 1 live before, and it was with you, Jalen. But it was just 2 of us. So maybe it makes a difference. Maybe 3 was too much. I don't know.
Maybe it's like heavier or something on the internet or something. I don't know. I wanted to know who was your inspiration, both plant-based and raw. Like that's all I wanted to ask. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know. Do you know Annette Larkins?
Yes.
She's been on the news and everything. She's like in her late 70s now, but she looks so young.
She's great.
She's been raw vegan for I don't know, 30-ish years. She's like my number one inspiration, and actually got to she didn't agree to doing an interview with me, probably because I don't have a big enough following, but
yeah.
But she did say she did say that I can call her and we could. So I called her and I spoke with her on the phone. We talked for like an hour, and I really love her because she's older. She looks great. She's taking care of herself. She still does like 10,000 steps a day. She eats.
I think it was like 17 last time I saw. I think it was like 17,000 or something like that. Last time I saw, I think it was like
really? It's somewhere over 10. It's somewhere over 10,000.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, she's really taking care of her health over the years, and that's why I want to be. I want to be like 75, 80 years old and still looking like I'm in my 50s. You know what I mean? So I think she's my number one. Well, her and Chef Babette. Do you know Chef Babette? She's an owner. She's the owner of a restaurant in LA called The Stuff I Eat. She is okay. I'm gonna send you guys her link, okay? Because she is 72, and she was doing swimsuit photo shoots. Okay.
Okay.
She looks really good. So I'm gonna send you guys her Instagram. Oh, it says running out of time. Okay, I don't want it to hang up. I'm gonna send you guys her link and check her out. Like, she's also an inspiration because those are people I want to look like that when I'm their age. You know what I mean? Like, continue taking care of my body, and I need to start off by removing that junk food. Even though I don't eat it all the time, but I still do eat it sometimes, and I don't want it a part of my life at all. I've been saying this for like 10 years. and I still haven't succeeded, but I will one day.
I feel like if you truly want to overcome that, you do have to like just cook meals that are equal to the same level as the food that you desire.
Yeah.
But you just cook it yourself, sort of thing. That's what
now my meals, what I eat in the house is healthy and fine. It's when it's like other occasions, or me and the husband are like, oh, it's a Friday night. Oh, let's go get something. You know, like some sweet.
Try the sushi spot. But
that doesn't help when I'm having a sweet tooth. I'll just get a date. I'll just eat a date, drink a date smoothie and call it a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, y'all. Huh?
I was gonna say no, I think he's like on point. Like in order to really stick to in my opinion, to stick to any lifestyle long term, like you have to love your food. You have to truly enjoy what you're eating. Because if we're, if our meals are not satisfying, then it's so easy for us to look elsewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also think, I think the most important thing is also having a huge why, and I know, I shared, I've recently fell back into past eating behaviors, and it's like definitely been, it's been a struggle, because it's like, I've been so consistent for so long, and then just kind of falling back and binging and like overeating. It's tough, it really is tough. And all it's really showing me is that is just reconnecting to why I made this change in the first place, why I love being raw vegan, all of the benefits that it adds to my life. And even hopping on this call now, I feel so much more inspired, like both of you, I'm so much more inspired. And I think everything does, happen for a reason, and the choices that we make are really just reflections and our lessons to be learned. And
mm-hmm.
And all we can do is just be mindful, right? Like, be mindful of how certain foods make us feel. Are these taken away from our lives, or are they adding to our lives? And then finding whatever balance that is for you. Maybe you can enjoy some restaurant foods or treats from time to time, but is it truly in alignment for you? Is it balanced in an overall healthy lifestyle? Is it taken away from life, or is it adding to your life? And I think that's going to be that's the variability that's going to differ from person to person. And I think that's what the journey is about. And as cliche as it is, it's not the destination, it's the journey, right? And we just have to learn to just make the best choices that we can in this moment, and love ourselves for the choices that we make, and to not be too hard on ourselves. Because when we get too negative, which I can 100% do, where I just beat myself up, I feel guilty, I'm disappointed in myself, that can create the toxic cycle that leads us back to unhealthy eating behaviors, in comparison to just learning, being mindful of how we feel, and then allowing that mindfulness to guide us to making the choices that serve us the most.
Amen. Preach. You better preach. That's what's up. That's the word of the day, y'all. I might have to incorporate this part back into it, because I originally was cutting off at the time where I gave the outro, right? But I might put this back in there. But anyway, all right, y'all. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Peace and love.
It was nice meeting you, Clinton, and good seeing you again on live and on Zoom. Jalen, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the gram.
You too, Jalen, as well. It's good chatting.
Always.
Bye-bye.